Oh boy, here we go. What's up, everybody? We are back with the Leprechaun movies, and I'm not thrilled, as you can probably tell by my voice. Yeah. Right off the bat, this is 3 movies in one, so we're just kind of doing the bullet points of the movies, and we're starting with the 4th one. We left off on the 3rd. We finished that up, and it was kind of... 4th one takes the cake on awfulness, so let's get into Shit Con 4. Would you like to add anything before we get into this movie?
No.
Now, before we get too deep, I would like to add, there are spoilers. I usually wait until the middle of the fucking video to say it. I'm not going to suggest watching this movie, so it doesn't really matter about spoilers, but yeah, viewer discretion is advised. And also, please make sure to like and subscribe. It would help out a lot. Make sure to comment down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm.
Nobody's ever going to listen to us again after talking about the 4th movie.
Of course. So I'm so burnt out on these fucking movies. This was painful to watch. It opens up, and the very first scene is a CGI ship.
Star Wars wannabe.
And the CGI in this movie, I cannot tell you how bad it is. There's no excuse. This was almost the year 2000. And even the lowest budget movie made with fucking kid pics could have made a better CGI experience than this movie gave me. You thought 1408 was bad. This is what bad CGI is.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say this is almost as bad as 1408.
Oh, you can go fuck yourself. So, we get onto the spaceship, and there's people arguing.
No, this is literally like Starship Troopers, Star Wars, and like
Star Trek, Among Us.
Some video games like fucking Among Us.
Right.
And, what's that? StarCraft.
Oh, yeah. So, they're on the spaceship arguing, and it turns out they're hunting something. What are they hunting? Does it even say what year this is at any time in the movie? So this is possibly in the future or the present. Who the fuck knows? It's very vague. It's a cold open. They're apparently hunting the Leprechaun. And
why they're hunting him, nobody knows. They never say.
Isn't it because he took the princess? Isn't that why they were hunting him?
Maybe.
Good night, everybody. So we get to the sergeant of the ship, and he's got half his head missing, and he's got a horrible prosthetic on, and his name is Sergeant Hooker. Hardy fucking har. So then there's this girl on board to collect alien samples, and he's like, there ain't gonna be a whamming on my ship. Let me talk to the doctor. And the doctor's like, yes, you will have the whamming on your ship. Yes.
Dr. Evil lookalike.
And so, let's see here. So then he's like, who's driving this ship? Ray Charles. That was pretty funny. Then we get to the Leprechaun. He finally comes in. It doesn't say how he survived the last movie. It doesn't say how he's in fucking on outer space on a different planet, wherever he is. But he's kidnapped a princess of a different planet, and it turns out the space people are hunting him down to save the princess. And by the way, I made sure to mention my notes again. Fucking awful CGI. I want to scream. Because the background, the environments, everything looks so bad. I, honest to God, would have rather seen like a high school play, like where they make the cardboard cutouts of the mountains and shit. That would have looked 1,000 times better than the CGI they used because, oh my God. So, at first she's like, no, I don't want leprechaun pee-pee, no. And then he's like, aye, but I'll make you rich because the king's broke. And she's like, but he's broke for noble reasons because he gave it to people. And he's like, yes, but he's broke, and I can make you rich. And he showed her all this gold, and she's like, oh, never mind, I'm on your side now.
Nice saying she's a gold digger.
So,
oh, yeah, that's also the main thing. Usually where's me gold, bitches? But this time he just wants to be a king.
Yep, that's all it is. He just wants the power. So, I made sure to put in my notes, why is this little cocksucker in space? So, I'm just going to read my notes as they are because they're pretty fucking great. Why is this little cocksucker in space? Oh, he has a lightsaber now. Fucking great.
He does. He has a lightsaber at one point.
And they end up saving the chick, and one of their own people die. I can't remember how he dies. He gets electrocuted or something. I don't remember. or the lightsaber. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fantastic. So that was a dog sneezing. Scared the shit out of me. So they get back on their spaceship and they start showing off technology they have, and it's a shrink ray and a grow ray, which is kind of cool. It looks like shit, but I mean the concept's cool. And then they're on to a shitty space nightclub in the next scene. They're dancing, having a good time, yada yada. We get to a sex scene. This guy's having sex, and all of a sudden he starts getting in pain. And the chick's like, "What's wrong?"
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention they actually blow the leprechaun up.
That's right.
He sacrifices himself for the princess. A grenade lands next to her, which looks like a thermal detonator from Star Wars.
But is he really dead? Is he ever really dead? No!
Of course.
No! I hate these fucking movies! So, excuse me. Yeah. There's the sex scene, and lo and behold, as this guy's crotch starts hurting, he goes back, and then the leprechaun comes out of the guy's dick. I'm so fucking done with this movie at this point. And then I put in all caps, then he fucking flies away! Why are you subjecting me to this? And oh! Now he's fucking John Wayne! So
Yeah, Pilgrim.
he fucking flies out of this guy's cock.
Yeah, we should say that how he got into the guy's cock is one of the soldiers was pissing on his blown apart body, and he turned into like a green mist and shot into the guy's dick.
That's a fair point to mention. So, he flies out, he lands, and he's fucking like, "Hi, I'm John Wayne, Pilgrim," and he shoots the fucking gun out of her hand. I keep saying John Wayne shit. So then we just have a bunch. I skip a lot in the notes for this movie. You're not missing much. Has a lot of switching between dancing and leprechaun battles and chase scenes. That's all it is.
And a lot of rip-offs off of other... This movie tries to be a sci-fi fantasy kind of movie.
And yeah, it's nothing. This movie is literally nothing. You could watch grass grow and feel more enjoyment.
This movie's barely a movie.
So, let's see here. Then the doctor's assistant or whatever he is, starts looking at the princess while she's asleep on this table. But then it goes to the knees. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, those fucking knees." And I'm like...
They're the bee's knees.
I'm going to grab another drink. Hold on, folks. So, today we're drinking Foster's. That's a damn good beer. I never had it before.
And PBR.
And PBR and Fireball. Then we're going to go to the bar later and do some karaoke and get drunk. So let's see here. So yeah, he's going crazy about her knees and shit, and then licks her stomach. And the TV doctor's watching him, and he's like, "Oh, you're a naughty, naughty boy. I know what you're doing." And so then he's like, "I want to take her DNA because of this, and her hand that was injured or some shit got healed. She can regenerate cells or some shit." So, leprechaun chase scene in the ship for like 7 fucking minutes. And then they get to the point where the leprechaun's like, "If you give her to me, I'll spare you guys, yada yada." So they're like, "Okay, let's give her to him. Fuck it, I want to live." And the guy's like, No. I need her for the research. You're not taking her away."
Yeah, this guy has like a Nazi fucking...
Yeah, for once, one of my voices I'm making isn't bullshit. This is how he actually sounds. So, hunting down the leprechaun for another 50 fucking minutes and back and forth chase scenes. The only saving grace I'll give to this movie is the acting was better than it was in 3.
Sure.
The acting was better. Everything else was fucking garbage. They had a fucking $20 budget for this movie. $15 went to the actors and $5 went to fucking food. There was no money that went towards the CGI. So, let's see here. Then we get to the point where the leprechaun has a work safety video he's in. He cuts his finger off and does some fuck shit to it.
Sets one of his fingers on fire.
Yes, and I skip a lot because it's just more worthless chase scenes and stupidity. Next point I have is the doctor and the lackey are together, and they get whatever he fucking needs working right, or whatever the fuck it is. And the lackey's like, "It's an inspiration to work with you. I love you." And the fucking guy's like, I despise you. And he's like, thank you for despising me.
There's at some point where the leprechaun turns against her because she's being a bitch, and he's like, all right, well, I shall wed her, bed her, and bury her.
That's right.
Instead of like Wine Dine 69 is wed, bed, and bury.
So then it shows the full doctor. He's like a half robot in a machine type thing. And
a mandroid.
so then we got Leprechaun fight again. Leprechaun meets with Robo Freak Doctor. Leprechaun goes on about wanting to be the king. And
they literally exchange like those stupid quips that they do in comedy movies. Like, oh, you're so short. It's like, I don't know which part of you still alive to kill.
So then the lackey Harold, you think he's about to die, but he doesn't. He comes up and sneaks up on the Leprechaun and stabs him. Leprechaun doesn't care. He's like, thanks for giving that back to me. He magic throws with the force a tray and pancake smashes the guy's face. And he's
literally smashes his face to where it's flat.
He's alive for a little bit and going, oh, it's stupid as fuck. And at this point, I hate AJ for making us watch these in the fucking moment, because it's like, these are some this okay, Leprechaun 1 was all right, Leprechaun 2 was pretty decent, 3 started going downhill, 4 was like, I felt like someone kicked me in the balls and then took my lunch money. That's how watching number 4 felt. But
wait till we get some even worse movies.
There's nothing worse than this.
Okay,
except for Drag Me to Hell, but we'll get to that's another podcast for another day. So more running, more gunning for the Leprechaun. The doctor turns into a spider freak thing that looks like it comes straight out of fucking like Silent Hill or Resident Evil or one of those fucking type genres. And
it legitimately grosses me out when he's like eating shit.
It is pretty fucking gross, that's fair. So I make the point, how the fuck was the Leprechaun in space? Was it ever said? Did he get magically there? What timeline does this take place? What continuity is this? Does it take place right after 3? Does it take place in the future since he never dies? When does this take place? That bugs me the most, because it's like all of a sudden you're in space in an undetermined year on an undetermined part of the fucking universe.
He shoots a fucking rainbow out of his ass and writes it into space.
I'm going to reiterate, please don't watch this movie. So, if you have watched it, comment down below, and if you disagree with me and think it's a great movie, talk to me, and let me find out who hurt you. So,
who hurt you?
Leprechaun finds his gold in the trunk, and she's like, that's all you got, you little dick bitch. And so then he makes her think she's ugly with his fucking hypnosis and shit. Cracks her in the head, wha-bam! And basically, I'm wrapping this up right now, so if you got anything to add, go for it.
Well, let's not forget, he magically turns big into the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
He turns into a fucking giant.
And what's the first thing everybody does in a movie when they turn giant? They look at their dick. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh.
So the next part of my notes that I have are, woman goes to shoot the Leprechaun, sneaks up on him, out of ammo, of course. Shoots him with a laser beam, but it makes him fucking gigantic. Why is this not over yet? This movie is awful. No more of this. We're ending this right now. Anything else you care to add before the...
Well, this movie seemed like when I was watching it, 46 minutes in, this movie was way too long. It was, like an hour, 40 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And like 46 minutes in, it's acting like it's ending. Oh no, there's still like another 40 minutes to go.
And 46 minutes in, it feels like you've been watching it for 3 hours already. So, he gets shot into space. Sucked into space. And he blows up. And he lives somehow, of course. I'm done. That's it.
Well, we don't know if he lives, because I'm assuming since it's in space, that's the last one chronologically.
We'll have to look that up and figure that out. Well, if the next one after this, Leprechaun returns, and he looks completely different.
No, returns as in it's 25 years after the first movie.
Well, when does like 5 or 6 take place?
Who knows?
What does this movie even... Okay, so we're going to have to look up the timeline on this, because now I'm fucking curious. So...
But yeah, I looked it up. Returns is 25 years after the first movie. It takes off from where he, like, they trap him in the well, and it says it leaves off from where they trapped him in the well. But 25 years later.
Fuck's sakes. So, I wonder if these are all like multiverses, like a Marvel type thing, where it's like there's no continuity.
They're not that smart.
What one Leprechaun does, like, how do we go from him being in the well to all of a sudden Leprechaun returns to then he's in fucking Vegas, then he's in the hood, he's in space. There's got to be some explanation. Different universe. The timeline's fucked. So anyway.
Well, as we find out in Back to the Hood, that he's the only Leprechaun left.
But we'll get to that. Don't worry, folks. Because we're covering Leprechaun 4, 5, and 6 in this one. So everyone lives happily ever after, yada yada. I'm rating this movie now. And I'm rating it 4.5 out of 10 or 1.5 out of 5 stars.
What?
Would not watch this movie ever again in my life. Even if you paid me.
You rated it a 4 out of 10?
4.5 out of 10.
Oh my God.
Or 1.5 out of 5 stars. And I put, maybe from being burnt out, I'm a little harsh, but fuck this. I will never watch this movie again. So I'm going to drink beer. You tell me what your rating was. 'Cause this...
I gave this movie a 2 out of 10.
What? I didn't... Okay. Okay. I didn't want to be too harsh.
No, you need to be.
I accounted for the fact that I'm burnt out, and if I was watching it fresh, I might have given a little more grace.
No, this movie deserves 2 out of 10.
This movie deserves unhappiness like it gave me.
See, a 1 star is something... Hey, it's still a movie. You can still watch it. You might not want to, but it's still a movie. And 2 is just the next step above that. It's like, yeah, it's a movie, but I really don't want to.
Right. I'll tell you what. If I get like fucking someone to pay me to watch this, I'll watch it again. So if Patreon in the future, we'll make it a special tier. Michael fucking watches it again if you pay.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a commentary on it or something.
Oh, live commentary would be great. I'd get canceled immediately because look at this fucking stupid cunt. Look at this fucking... So, let's move on to Leprechaun 5.
You don't say that.
I say what I want. So, strap up, boys and girls. Get your gats because we're going to the fucking hood. I cannot believe this is something that really happened in real life.
I'm kind of glad it did, though, because I actually kind of like this movie.
It's just painful compared to 4. No. But so Leprechaun goes down into a dark hideaway, like a fucking dungeony basement-looking place, or whatever it is. And he's counting his gold and shit like usual. And then we see Ice-T. How the fuck is Ice-T in this movie?
Leprechaun is... We go back to... Was it Leprechaun 3 in Vegas, where he starts off as a statue and he has the thing around his neck?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the reason I put why is Ice-T in this is because the opening credits started and it said starring Ice-T, and I was like, how the fuck is Ice-T in this? Because I was like, he wasn't in that yet. But so the opening introduction shows he's in this. So
yeah, we see the return of the medallion that turns him to stone.
So Mr. Ice-T and friend Lemonade commit a B&E, and they break into.
Was that really his name, Lemonade?
No, I made a joke.
Well, I could imagine because there's fucking Stray Bullet and Postmaster P.
But no, like the drink iced tea and then lemonade.
I gotcha.
I think our subscribers will appreciate that one. So they're all IQ people. So they're breaking and entering, and they find a place that's supposed to have gold. Then we see the leprechaun statue again with the necklace. Somehow. Some fucking how. What is this timeline? How did he get the fucking necklace back on him? So, because if we're going off forgetting 4, if this is after 3, how does 3 end?
Maybe this comes before. I'm going to say this comes before 3 due to the ending of this one.
You know what? I didn't even think of that. You could be onto something with that. So, let's see here. He finds a gold flute and takes it and then takes the necklace off. Of course, what do you expect now? The fucking leprechaun's awake. He takes the fucking dude's afro comb and stabs him in the throat. And Ice-T's like, God, diggity, damn. He doesn't say that, but I fucking said it. How I'm still watching these movies at this point. So, Ice-T, leprechaun, they fight. The necklace gets back on the leprechaun. He's like, ha, bitch. So, then we have a meanwhile in the hood transition, and it shows fucking hood life, fucking cars, people walking around, yada yada. Let's see. What the fuck does this note even mean? Some of these notes are a little fucking sporadic here. Let's see. Rap on star going on. What the fuck does that mean?
We get introduced to our three main characters, Butch, Stray Bullet, and Postmaster P.
Yeah, they're on stage rapping and shit.
They're positive rappers.
Of course, yeah. So then it goes to them being in a fucking pawn shop, trying to sell a Jimi Hendrix guitar, a Jimi Hendrix signed guitar.
It's not
To
actually
this
a
guy.
Hendrix
Yeah,
guitar.
no, it's a fucking ripoff. And he's like, yeah, he signed it in 71. And the guy's like, didn't he die in 70? And he's like, nah. So they're like, what you gonna give me for the guitar? And he's like, I'll give you 5 seconds to get the fuck out of my store. That was a pretty good line.
My God, I'm being blinded by the light.
He's getting sun in his sun in his eyes. I'm a little buzzed. So Ice-T rolls up rich as fuck, now looking clean as a motherfucker. And
He has the magic flute.
I was gonna say the gold flute must have made him rich somehow. Didn't understand how it worked, but
I think if you blow it, you can make people do whatever you want.
that's what we find that out later. But at first, when this opening in the movie, I'm like, oh, how does that work? He pulls up and he's like, what's up, dude? And they're like, yeah, we're trying to be positive, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, fuck you, come to my office. So they go to his office. The Leprechaun statue's in there with the fucking necklace on it. And let's see. Basically, the conversation goes like, we don't want your Postmaster P positive bullshit. We do hood shit, bitch.
We want the slap you hoe, shoot your homie in the eye kind of shit.
Exactly. He's like, we don't want your positive bullshit. So he's like, unless you're changing it down with the set, get the fuck out, or with the label. And so they later break in because they're going to steal shit from him. And, of course, they shoot him right away. And,
well, just Stray Bullet and some of his buddies. I don't think Postmaster P was there, was he?
Was he not there?
He might have been.
There was 3 of them there.
Yeah.
I thought, well, it's hard to tell because I was not paying the best attention at this point. But, so they pop his ass, and they take the fucking necklace off the Leprechaun, of course, and then take the gold flute. So then we have the same fucking shit as usual. Ah, me gold. And then he's like, hand me gold, you thieving hoods. You got more loot than Tiger Woods. That made me laugh pretty good. That was good. So then they shoot the Leprechaun 7 trillion times. They drive off. Then, fucking Ice-T lived. Look at that. So Leprechaun and Ice-T get into it. They end up in the bathroom. Ice-T's at a place calling for backup. He goes in the bathroom, and the Leprechaun ends up in there with him. They start smoking a joint together. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll blaze to that. That's pretty cool. We're weed friendly on this channel. And he's like, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. I'll also smoke to that, because that's a fucking great saying. But so then he rips Ice-T's finger off for his stupid fucking gold ring, just like he did in the first movie of that guy, or second movie?
He does rip a finger off, but he also takes a couple gold teeth out in these movies, too.
Well, that too. So then we go to the pawn shop where the guys who stole all that shit are going to the pawn shop. And they're trying to get some money for all the stuff they stole. And they get some gear and 500 and some odd bucks, 550 or whatever it was. And so Postmaster P, I think it was him who blew the flute. He blows the flute and everyone just gets entranced and stops. And Leprechaun hears it from 50,000 miles away. And Leprechaun ends up going to the pawn shop owner to get his gold back. And
Jackie Brown is his name. You trying to rob Jackie Brown?
So he's like, get the fuck out of here. So Leprechaun does his usual shit where he makes it seem like it's a woman that the guy's been wanting forever. And he's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. And then then he gets killed. You know, what a fucking surprise. Get a new idea. And let's see. Oh god. So where my rating is down here, I only have like 4 more notes of the whole movie.
That's all that's needed.
Oh my god. So, let's see here. Ice-T finds the robbers and Postmaster P and his crew. Well, it is Postmaster P and his crew, not and. They run.
That's literally the rest of the movie, them running from Leprechaun and
right.
Ice-T.
Because Ice-T's like, give me my fucking flute, bitch. And they're like, we don't know what the flute is. And the guy is lying. He's like, I don't have your flute, man. So, they escape, they run. Yeah, basically the rest of this fucking movie is just shenanigans running back and forth.
They seek shelter at a cross-dresser. And there's a point where the leprechaun comes in and the crossdresser's like, "Oh, I know what you here for, honey.
Right.
Magic flute, you say." They go in the bedroom and they start hearing the noises in the bedroom and shit, and they open the door and it looks like they're actually fucking, and I'm like, "Oh my god, Leprechaun's actually fucking this dude."
Hell yeah.
But then it cuts back and he's actually like strangling and like cutting his neck and shit.
Get you some. But yeah, they're not actually fucking, like he said, just murderous like fucking usual. And
Coolio ends up being in one of these scenes too when they're in the club. They're like, "Oh my god, that's Coolio."
Yes,
he's
he
just
will.
in the back of the club, just like transfixed with him.
yes, he was, and I remember that point perfectly, and I definitely
sure you
didn't.
do.
I definitely didn't skip over it. I love LL Cool J. So, basically, he's gonna do a show. He blows the flute, so people love it. Yada yada. Then there's just a ton of trying to get it back, trying to get the flute back. Ice-T's coming to get your ass, and AJ, you can take it from here if you want to add any more. Otherwise, I'm heading straight to the ending.
That's where I was headed for the ending in the warehouse or wherever they're at.
Take it away, please. I'm gonna
Oh, well, there
drink
was a
more.
point where they seek shelter with another guy and they trap him in a safe. And do you not remember that?
No, no, I don't.
They literally do what they did in the second or third movie where they open the door and he
Second
runs into
one.
the safe.
Jesus.
But of course, after that, he gets out and the postmat, or no, it was before that. Ice-T shows up. He's like, "What you gonna do about the leprechaun?" He's right behind you. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not falling for that
Oh,
trick."
right, yeah.
Of course, the leprechaun's behind him. And then at the end of the movie, that switches around. He's like, "Well, what are you gonna do about Ice-T behind you?" He's like, "Oh, I'd have to be a fool to fall for that one."
Right. So, basically, it ends with the dude on stage has a great show, shows his eyes, they're glowing green like he's under the leprechaun's control. And the leprechaun is in sunglasses, and he's like, oh, no, wait, I skipped so, the leprechaun uses his force control to make the dude almost shoot his friend. He's like, "Give me back my flute." And then they give him back the flute, and he makes the guy blow his own brains out, which that was pretty fucked up. So, yeah, he does the show. Then the leprechaun's like, "I taught him everything he knows." Then he dances around like an asshole and raps. And, oh, good God, he lives. Of course he lives. And
There's 2 or 3 people where he literally blows people's guts out using force power, which he does to Ice-T.
he's too OP. He really is.
And literally, the end of the movie, it's the only movie so far where the leprechaun doesn't die. And the medallion just flies in the air and lands on him. And that's maybe where the third one, is that the Vegas one?
Does the necklace land on him?
Yeah, it flies
the
in the air, and he's like, "Oh, fuck!" And it fucking falls.
I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. I skipped around a lot in this movie, especially on the slow and worthless parts.
So maybe 3 takes place after the first Hood movie.
I was going to say, all I saw of the ending was him rapping, and I thought that's how it ended, was just him rapping.
So
Okay.
you missed that whole part where Ice-T dies. And
I kind of did. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. These movies are a fucking sham. I don't need to defend myself. So I'm going to rate this now, unless you want to rate it first.
Go ahead.
I gave this about the same as I gave 2 and 3. It's a 6 out of 10 or 3 out of 5 stars.
So you'd watch it again.
I'd watch it again. Not for probably till next year, late next year, maybe the next year after that, but
'Cause anything for me that's a 5 and above, I would watch again.
Right.
5, I wouldn't really want to, but I would.
right. So what do you rate this one?
I gave this one a 5.5.
Wow. Okay. So let's go on and move on to Leprechaun 6. Leprechaun in the Hood 2.
Back to the
Back
Hood.
to the Hood. Fuck's sakes.
And the leprechaun's hair is long as ever in this movie. It just keeps growing.
And this one has one cool part in it. It kind of gives an origin story to the leprechaun. So I think that's pretty damn cool. But we open... Wait, now how the fuck? So when does this take place? Because if you say he got the necklace in the last movie, when does he go back to the Hood? And
After 3, maybe?
someone please explain the fucking timeline in the comments.
We'll have to watch a YouTube video. I guarantee you there's one out there.
Right. Oh, for sure. So it opens to a storybook talking about knights in the Dark Ages and shit with the king. He was in league with magical creatures. And basically, The Leprechaun origin, basically, well, it goes into detail later about it, super detail, but the explanation you get right now is the king's reign ended and the leprechauns went home, except for one, the bad one.
The leprechauns were charged with protecting the king's gold.
Yep, and if it left, going and retrieving it and stuff, and then once he was gone, the leprechauns returned to the earth, except for one.
And this one turned evil. So apparently leprechauns weren't always evil.
Yeah. So I got a few more notes on this one than the last one, but I just lost my place. Give me a second here, folks. Here we go. So drunk priest is fighting a rainbow and ends up being the leprechaun. He's trying to fight the leprechaun. Leprechaun's looking for his gold or some shit. I don't know anymore. I don't try to fucking follow these movies.
He's looking for his gold. The priest cut the rainbow in two. And...
Right. So he tries to kill and exorcise the leprechaun. Leprechaun seems scared and says, "Don't send me back." And then these like hands from the earth, look like hands from hell, drag him down into the earth, which is pretty cool.
He's not throwing holy water on him. He's throwing water infused with clover.
Right. And so 1 year later, it's to these fellow youth, and they're talking about how it's 1 year later, the priest had died. Basically, there's just a lot of talking, cars, ass slapping, hood shit. Does it need an explanation? It's a fucking hood movie. There's just hood shit going on for like fucking 40 minutes. So
yeah, we don't see the leprechaun again for like a half an hour. So
this dude pulls up for a shakedown of this dude to get his money back. He was in a beautiful car. I really liked that a lot. And so this dude that's on a motorcycle,
Rory,
whatever their fucking names are, I never know their names. He was the guy with the Kool-Aid comment, right? Because
he was the one with the Powerade.
Okay. So yeah, they're like, drinking Kool-Aid, huh? And he's like, "It's Powerade, you illiterate motherfucker."
So that's what happens when you don't graduate high school before learning to read.
I don't know why that line was so funny, but it's Powerade, you illiterate motherfucker. It was so fucking funny. It put me out of my bad mood of watching these movies. So, these two broads go and see a fortune teller. She's like, "Good to see you again, Erica." And she's like, "It's Emily." And then she's like, "Oh, and then you have your friend here, blah, blah, blah."
I knew that.
And she's like, she actually knew the chick's name that was the friend. So the new chick she never met before, she knew her name, showing her psychic powers and stuff. But she doesn't know the name of the chick that she already knew. And then she sits down and says the wrong name for the other chick. And it's like, okay, you're really playing on that too hard. So
she actually does see the shit.
Yeah, she does. She starts doing her hoodoo, and she's like, "I see danger, blah, blah, blah. You'll get great wealth, but at a high price. You must reject it." And,
it's like, now why the hell would she do that?
And then she sees the leprechaun in her fucking visions, and she fucking strokes out and dies, it looks like. I couldn't tell if that's what they were going for. Yeah, there's some ASMR for ye sons of bitches. So let's see here. It looks like she fucking dies, but I don't know what happens until later on, but it looks like she did. Lots of weed smoking in this movie, which we're 420 friendly here, so good on that.
The leprechaun gets high a lot in this movie.
Yes, he does. So lots of weed smoking, basketball playing, talking. Let's move it along. There's a lot of just atmosphere and background building in this movie. Like,
there's literally a montage in this movie of the leprechaun killing people and the other people going on a shopping spree.
Yep. So there's a bitch dancing in a rainbow, the bitch that got warned about the money, I think it was, and she falls through wood, flooring, or whatever the fuck it was, just support beam, or not support beams, but she falls down into this religious place where it turns out like the priest or whatever had strung up the treasure chest of the leprechaun's gold, or I guess it was the priest, I don't know.
The priest hid the gold, yeah.
Okay. So then this dumb, stupid bitch takes the treasure chest immediately. Stupid bitch is what I have in my notes. She takes it back to the homies, and she starts telling them, "I want you to get a car with all this money. I want you to do this." And then she looks at the one dude who's always smoking, and he's kind of a dumb fuck. She's like, "You can't buy no bud with this." And he was like, "What? Damn!"
He literally freaks out.
And, my first thought was, dude, you could buy a fucking dump truck of weed with that money. And later on, he buys a lot of weed. But, well, not later on, like in the next scene. So the next scene, everyone buys a ton of shit. It's that buying montage. This motherfucker buys 2 of those big black trash bags worth of weed, and he's carrying it over his shoulders like a fucking,
Fucking Santa Claus of the hood.
right. I loved it. So then we finally see the Leprechaun again. He's perched in a tree like the fucking Batman.
Oh, he has a cape in this movie, too.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah, because, the movies keep on giving to you, folks. So, Leprechaun comes in as the dude smoking weed, and the dude thinks he's hallucinating. He's like, this is some strong shit. And he was smoking it from a nice-looking bong, too. I wanted to point that out. So Leprechaun smokes with them, and
yeah, they're cool at first.
At first, then he jams the fucking bong into his chest
After he sees one of his coins fall out of his pocket.
And then the Leprechaun gets hardcore munchies. I feel that. I know how that goes.
I laughed during this scene.
It was kind of funny.
The guy was making a sandwich, and the whole time the Leprechaun's looking in his fridge, finding shit to eat. He tries butter and some other shit.
So then the dude kicks the fridge closed. Leprechaun goes in there with it. So he just hotboxes the inside of the fridge. And they find the dead dude, call the cops. The cops confiscate all that weed, which is a travesty. And so then this fucking bitch, she's turned stuck up as shit from this money. She goes to a guy to make an ugly-ass gold tooth out of the gold coin. What a fucking waste. Because he melts down the actual coin, which I'm surprised the coin could actually be melted since they're magic and shit. But melts it down and turns it into a gold tooth for her. And
which don't make sense because that gold tooth was probably like a sixth of that gold coin. Where'd the rest of the melted gold
right. Go? Movie magic. So then we get to this chick who was quitting her job because she was rich now. And she's like, you gotta massage this big black chick. And she's like, I don't like big black chicks. And no hate, I love big black chicks, but let's see here. So Leprechaun comes in and starts rubbing her.
Was she getting fired?
I thought
she was like, "This is your last day," and she got mad and shit.
I thought she said, "It's your last day. I don't know what's going on with you." I thought because the chick quit because she had all that money, and that's why she was making her do that shit work because she was quitting.
Because she seemed like she was really irritated.
Well, yeah, because she was quitting.
I wouldn't be irritated if I was quitting. I'm like, hell yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Well, the chick was irritated because she had to massage the fat black chick. Because she's like, it's going to take me 3 bottles of oil to massage her. And we don't
so irritating about that?
I don't know. She doesn't like fat people. I don't know what her problem was. But as she was rubbing the chick, she's like, I'm out of oil because we don't have beached well-sized oil or some shit like that. And she's like, what'd you say? And so Leprechaun comes in and starts rubbing her down. And she starts making all these sex noises and shit. She's like, oh, yeah. And
he's fucking stepping on her. And
then he just kills her. I don't know why he went through the trouble of massaging her if he was going to kill her anyway. But,
he likes to have a good time.
Yes. So, then the other bitch almost gets killed, but puts a shaver or a buzzer in the guy's eye for hair, the Leprechaun's eye. And then I just put, I hope you remember a lot of this movie, AJ, because I'm done. Fuck this movie. I'm skipping way ahead, so you can throw some in there if you'd like. Because I just put lots of Leprechaun chase scenes, yada yada. We know how this goes, and then I get to the part where the cops and Leprechaun are fighting. So.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, cool. So, God, dude, we've been doing it for 45 minutes. I told you to movie about this. So let's see. Leprechaun and cops end up fighting because he wants his gold back. Leprechaun gets in a fist fight with a gang of rebel rousers.
Yeah, that's it. In between there somewhere, they find out that he dumps the gold out and the gold refills itself. And they have the gold and they're walking down the street and the cops are like, oh, what are you doing with that gold there? And he arrests them and put them in the back of the car, and that's when the Leprechaun shows up.
Yeah, I remember all that.
No,
I might have skipped past that.
Well, he picked up the chest off the dead chick. He kills the one chick, Erica.
Okay.
And the
I
chest.
didn't see that part either.
Yeah, he killed her. He strangled her to death.
Oh, good.
And no, he shoved his fucking hands in her gut. And the
Savage.
chest is on her mantle. And he picks it up, and he's like, what the fuck? This feels like it's full. After they dished out all the gold already.
Right.
He opens it, it's full of gold, and he dumps it out. And the gold's on the floor. And the gold refills itself.
Well, that's cool.
While the gold is still on the floor. And that's when they're walking down the street, the cops show up. Hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird when I skipped ahead that the cops were there all of a sudden, but I didn't care enough to go back.
Yeah, they arrested him, put him in the back, and that's when the Leprechaun shows up, like high noon, Old West, walking down the alley.
So basically, he rips the heart out of the guys he was in a fist fight with. They go to the psychic to ask for help, and she's like,
he rips the one cop's leg off, and he's like, "Give that leg back."
that too. That was pretty funny. They go to the psychic to ask for help. So basically, we're going to wrap this up here. Basically, it turns out their real name were Legergons or something like that. And then it gets told about the king's gold, protecting it, yada, yada, yada. He has 2 weaknesses, 4-leaf clovers and his gold. Then the guy had a 4-leaf clover in his weed bag. So like, okay, here you go. They burn some clover and cut it and put it into the hollow point bullets he has in his gun, which is a smart idea. Leprechaun kicks the door open to the psychic's house. The psychic gets like Dragon Ball Z powers all of a sudden, and she starts shooting energy waves at the guy, or the leprechaun, and energy balls and stuff. And then she ties him up with energy, and his eyes glow red, and then she just screams and dies. I don't know how, but she's dead.
Oh, we forgot to mention in the first Hood movie, all of a sudden he has zombies now.
Oh, yeah.
People whose eyes glow green and do his dirty work for him.
Yep. But let's see. Oh, yeah. He keeps shooting the leprechaun, stops before he's about to die. Gun jams, get it unjammed. Then they shoot him some more. Then he gets hit with his gold coins, and he drops into liquid cement. He drowns. Supposedly, fuck these movies. We are doing What Lies Beneath for our next podcast, because if I don't get a break from these movies, I'm going to probably be psychotic. So,
yeah, there's 2 more movies. Well, they just confirmed that they're working on another one, but there's 2 more now, which neither of us has seen, so we don't know if they're any good or not.
So we will be back with What Lies Beneath, and then after that, we will do those 2 movies. And I give this movie a 5.5 out of 10, or a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I liked the fact that it explained the Leprechaun's origins, but the rest of the movie was just...
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if I never saw this again. I gave it a 4 out of 10.
God dang. Huh. Well, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry that you've been pained with listening to these movies as we have. Go ahead and watch them for yourself. Just not 4 unless you're really brave.
Watch them before you listen to this so you'll understand our pain.
Oh, yeah, that too. If you've listened to all this, go back and don't listen to it and then watch them. But other than that, take care. Make sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.